I left to play around with small quirky mechanics, and this time I thought to myself if torch burnout mechanic can be used somewhere. And after playing around with it for a bit, I realized it's an incredible circuit. It's an intended feature that is simultaneously one of the oldest bugs in the game and does not work how developers intended it to work. It's a bot, it's a clock, it's a unique delay circuit and a wireless signal transmitter. So let's explore it together. There is a global hash map with all redstone torches that exist in the world. Game stores torch position and time when it turned off. Each time redstone torch receives a tile tick, it deletes all entries older than 60 game ticks. After that, it adds new entry if it's turning off and checks if given torch has been turned off 8 times in the last 60 game ticks by iterating through the list once again. If yes, it burns out, plays this sound, and summons 5 particles. After that, it schedules a tile tick in 160 game ticks. It will stay off and will not react to anything, since tile tick is already scheduled. After 160 game ticks, if it's not powered, it will turn back on. But wait a minute, if you've built torch burnout clock at least once in your life, this will not sound familiar to you. Clearly when it burns out, it just stays off until you update it somehow. Well, this is a bug. Let's look at what happens each tick before it burns out. On tick 0, dust powers the lead torch, and it schedules a tile tick on tick 2. On tick 2, dust depowers the lead torch, and it schedules a tile tick on tick 4. Torch turns off and realizes it turned off 8 times in the last 60 game ticks, so it burns out. However, it fails to schedule the tile tick on tick 164 because one tile tick is already scheduled on tick 4. And finally on tick 4 nothing happens. Now torch is in a botted state. Here are different clock speeds. With clock cycles 9 game ticks or more, torches don't burn out. With clock speeds from 8 to 5, torch burns out correctly. And with 4 game tick clock, torch has a buggy burnout. My guess as to why torch burnout was added is to prevent accidental fast clocks in early versions of the game that were not optimized yet. If you've played this game before Redstone update, you probably built this burnout clock, or a more stable torch spam like this. Reason it needed so many redstone torches is because prior to Minecraft 1.8 snapshot, torch burnouts reacted to random ticks. Thus configurations with more torches were less likely to randomly stop. This was actually used in early random number generators, like this one by Minecraft Monkeys, or a slot machine by 69. Nowadays, if we actually look at the code, here is what redstone torch does on random tick. Yeah, not a whole lot. This is actually a good thing. Now we can use burnout circuits in redstone builds and we would get predictable behavior. Talking about using it as redstone circuit, I guess enough rambling around, let's look at the stuff we can do with it. Most basic clock we can make is this 4 game tick clock. Torches alternate and update each other. It should work forever, however, this may break upon starting, from my experience. So a way to fix it is by adding an extra torch on the back. Interestingly, if we turn on sounds, we can hear that after first cycle, torches make burning out sound effect each time they turn off. Remember that there is no such state as burned out torch. Only reason they don't turn on immediately after burning out with 4 tick clocks is because there are still 8 turn off entries for this torch in the list. And with 2 torch configuration after first cycle, torch gets updated as soon as first entry left the list. So technically each time it turns off, list becomes full and it burns out. But 2 game ticks later another entry from the start gets removed and it is ready to be updated again. This is the reason we hear burning out sound each clock cycle. Makes an amazing noise machine. By the way, reason I'm using jack-o'-lantern is because it's a nice way of cancelling out light updates from the torch. This is totally not important, just a super slight improvement for preventing client lag, and the reason I use jack-o'-lanterns is because it's the only light source you can place redstone on. Actually, you can't place redstone torch on the top face, but that's fixed in 1.13. As I already explained, this clock is bugged and this is unintended behavior. By adding a repeater, we can turn this 4 game tick clock into 8 game tick clock. Now, when torch burns out, it schedules style tick in 160 game ticks correctly. If we read signal from this redstone, we get a really compact 220 game tick clock. We can also make it a lot less laggy by changing repeater to comparators. Now signal strength of redstone is just 1 instead of 15. One of the earliest uses for burnout clocks comes from storage stage. Since they trigger exactly 8 times, it stacks nicely with Minecraft stack limits. Here is a simple item dispenser that gives you 8 items on activation. You can easily make it any multiple of 8, obviously. And here is a burnout clock used in 3x3 door in 2013 by Mr. Uberduck. Works perfectly even after 10 years. Burnout clocks are often used even by modern day redstoners in our community. I searched through Redstone Squid's record catalog Discord and found a lot of cool use cases that I will be showing today. I also recommend joining the Discord server and checking stuff out yourself. There are a lot of smart people to learn from there. So here is a small double piston extender by Height 30. If this doesn't look epic enough for you, how about this quintuple piston extender by Makita? You can see how he used redstone level change from this hopper clock to trigger burnout a second time to finish piston sequence. This is a really compact way of doing so, but here is a way to do it without hoppers. This will update torch as soon as 60 game ticks have passed. Since it first turn off entry in that list I talked about at the start of the video, remember once again that there is no such state as being burned out. All it cares about is that there are less than 8 turn-offs for this torch for the past 60 game ticks. And here is a version that's a bit slower but doesn't hiss. I would also like to cover this observerless 4 game tick ship leader by Reds XT. Yep. We can also simulate old redstone torch behavior by bringing back our friend from an earlier video, Redstone ore. This configuration converts random tick that hit redstone ore into torch style tick. So this is technically a random tick detector that will activate 8 times. I've found people using it in this 2 and 1 high carpet door by RFXL. Crazy shit. Torches are also great for having a lot of delay in a compact space. Here I linked multiple torch burnouts together, creating a really slow repeater. It can be more compact, but this will be direction. You can also make it faster by making one torch update the next one. This is something like a cheaper alternative to classical repeaters, although terribly laggy, of course. Here is an actual use for delay circuit with redstone torch, useless machine by Makita. Once again we can see triggers multiple times with hopper dropper clock. Here is another 3x3 door by MadCloud 101 and Exorden. Here it's used both as a clock and as a delay for bottom part of the door. Let's not forget about torch burnout as block update detector. This is a really compact but also a laggy one to use in some farm, for example. They don't update right away. As you can see by this test, they take 2 game ticks to turn on. This is once again perfect for doors. Here is a brilliant use for it in a 2 high 2x2 door by Makita. Again, it is used in conjunction with another old bug with tripwire hooks. In certain directions they will send out block updates if any string is touched between hooks in 40 block distance, even if tripwire is not connected. In this door, entity triggers string, making tripwire hook on the other side send an update to the butted torch. In this trapdoor by Ralp, it can also be seen not getting directly powered, but instead just updated. As for farms, I must admit it's a really bad way of detecting something. Here is a style mob farm module with pre-damaging. 1 gate tick slower than tripwire hook, can't really stack too densely because torches would update each other. Light flickering, redstone dust, I would not recommend this in any version of the game, there are better options. As for crop farms, it is an even worse option. For example, this sugarcane farm will eventually break if sugarcane grows 2 times in the time torch is resetting. This is also true for detection-based melon or pumpkin farms. Only safe way to make them is to remove ground block while your detection is resetting. Alternatively, you need some complicated self-fixing mechanism like in this design by Mayot. It's totally not what we need for detection-based mushroom farms either. So if you find a use for torch burnout in farming industry, props to you. Since all redstone torches share same hash map, maybe it's possible to somehow use it as wireless redstone. The fuck do I know? Go try yourself, but that would be an epic turn of events if it is possible. If you're still not a fan of torch burnout, I'm going to share a bit more random contraptions with it. If you want an easy way to make permanently burnt out floating torch on a block, I made these small machines that will help you. Here is another stupid thing. Burnout can also be seen in another compact 2x2 door by Wolf in Amira. Here it triggers double piston extender. And here is another 2x2 door by Papito. Very cool way to tie multiple burnouts together. Burnout clock is also perfect speed for piston worms. This is widely used in sliding doors like this one by Reverse Gravity, Nike and Jar. I will link a few more doors with burnouts in the description, don't worry. I was surprised how much depth there is to torch burnout, and at least for myself I decided that I am pro burnout. It's funny how actual intended feature is never used, however the broken button one is. I know that a lot of people hate it. It's really inconvenient for computational redstone since anything faster than 9 game ticks will break if it has redstone torch in it. As for storage stage, yes, it may be helpful in refilling stations or some shulker box loaders, but it is a pain to avoid in item sorters. I think we can all agree on one thing. Thank God there is no repeater or piston burnouts. I hope you got a new circuit in your toolset after this video. Please send cool uses of torch burnouts that I forgot to cover in this video in the comments. Don't be afraid to post links, I will try to approve them if YouTube doesn't delete them automatically. I am really interested to see what else can be done with this buggy quirky mechanic. Thanks for watching and bye.